we are working Psalm 8. In traditional psalm magic, we use Psalm 8 frequently for obtaining new customers in a business, also to improve our self-esteem, for help in business in general, and also for general goodwill. You can use this video to work on any of those things, but I'm going to orient the psalm today toward accessing and utilizing our own inner power. The way we work psalm magic is very simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm in question and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. This is commonly called an incantation. After we've finished that, we go back through the psalm and consider each verse in turn. We hunt for hidden occult meanings within each verse, and we see those as magic seeds. And when we're searching for them, we're finding those meanings, we're trying to apply them to whatever the situation is that we've brought to the psalm. And by doing all of that, we are taking those magic seeds and planting them in fertile ground. And that fertile ground happens to be our own deep minds. And those seeds take root. They grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that is exactly what you and I are going to do right now with Psalm number 8. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all of the earth, who hast set thy glory above the heavens. Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings hast thou ordained strength because of thine enemies, that thou mightest still the enemy and the avenger. When I consider thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him, and the Son of Man that thou visitest him? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, yea, and the beasts of the field, the fowl of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passeth through the paths of the seas. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all of the earth. The word Lord in the King James Version of the Bible is a translation of the Tetragrammaton from the Hebrew, Yud He Vav He, which is the proper name of the Creator according to tradition. There was also a lot of superstition, and there still is, about the name of God. There's been a lot said about the ineffable name of God for centuries. And the idea that it's ineffable is frequently believed to mean that you shouldn't say the name of God because it's either not polite or it's cursed or it's taking the Lord's name in vain. Whereas from a magical point of view, it's not that you shouldn't speak the name of God, Yud He Vav He. It's that it's impossible to speak God's name even if you wanted to. The idea of naming God in and of itself is attempting to make finite that which is infinite. Saying that you cannot speak the name of God is a reminder that there's no way to name that which is infinite. So it's important that we don't get superstitious about saying, oh, you can't say Yud He Vav He or Yehovah or whatever because it's bad luck or it's impolite or something like that. That's not what that means. What it means is that it's impossible to actually name that which is infinite. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. In the Psalms, the name of something means its nature, its character. So the name of God isn't so much Yod He Vav He in that respect. It's what the qualities of God are. So that's why God has so many names, because God is infinite. God is infinite love. God is infinite life. God is infinite spirit. God is infinite soul. God is infinite intelligence. God is infinite truth. God is infinite law. God is infinite presence. All of those things plus an infinite amount of other qualities. How excellent is thy name in all of earth. Earth is our experience. Doesn't only mean the actual planet Earth or the dust of the earth or the soil. It means that which is a concrete experience in our lives. So at the onset, we are invoking the qualities of the infinite into our experiences. Who has set thy glory above the heavens. That's a symbolic understanding of what we've been talking about. You can't name that which is infinite. You can't put an image onto that which is infinite. The idea of even conceptualizing the infinite is clumsy. It has set thy glory above the heavens. It's impossible to conceive of that glory. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings hast thou ordained strength because of thine enemies. The innocence of babes, the innocence of sucklings are the truth. They're symbols of the truth. They're symbols of who we are at our core, our innocence at our core, how we were created and how we are seen and viewed by the infinite is pure. No matter what we do, no matter how lofty our intellect becomes, no matter how we act toward one another, no matter how encrusted our ego minds seem to be in any situation, it doesn't matter, because the infinite has ordained strength because of all of that. So no matter what it looks like that you're going through in the finite realms of the world, the glory of the infinite is supreme, and nothing can withstand that. When you come to psalm magic, you're working with this orientation that there is one power, there's one source. And this source is this Lord that we're talking about that you can't name, even when you try to, that has infinite qualities, infinite names. This power, this force, has ordained strength in the face of any struggle, in the face of any so-called enemy. No matter what has been presented to you by your ego mind, it is always divinely outmatched. And the ego mind is very sly, crafty, and cunning in that it wants to get us very busy and focused on everything but the infinite. The infinite is a threat to it because the infinite is truth. It shines truth onto any situation, and then anything that doesn't look like truth is dissolved. It's important to remind ourselves that this is the case, that thou mightest still the enemy and the avenger. The enemy and the avenger can be anything in your life that is a problem. And remember that all problems stem from the ego mind that wants us focused on problems rather than focusing on the infinite. If we're focused on problems rather than the infinite, the ego continues to exist. If we shift our focus from the problems and back onto the infinite, not only do the problems dissolve, but the cause of the problems dissolve as well, which is this ego mind. And remember, the ego mind is an entire thought system based on a single thought: I am separate. I'm separate from my good. I'm separate from the infinite. I'm separate from other people. I'm separate. I'm insignificant, I'm small, I'm a speck of dust. The infinite will always turn that thought system on its head. The ego knows that it's no match for the infinite, therefore its only power is to distract us and to keep us busy focusing on everything but the infinite. When I consider thy heavens, the works of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him? This is a very important step because we believe what the ego teaches us. I'm nothing. I'm just a speck of dust. I'm not worthy. And that's where all arrogance stems, because we believe that we need to be strong, personally strong, so that we can withstand all of the other egos out there. In and of itself, the idea that I'm nothing but a speck of dust is arrogant. That is the seat of all arrogance and is one of the main tools that the ego uses to keep us believing in it. We're nothing but a speck of dust. We're not that important. And therefore, the answer to that is either to just succumb to that and be miserable, or to puff ourselves up and to create a pseudo strength for ourselves. Neither one is accurate. We were created perfect as divine extensions of truth, and we are mighty. We were created mighty. We can be nothing but mighty. However, we also have the free will to use our minds as we desire. And if we are in the habit and have gotten in the habit of seeing ourselves as small and insignificant, we will experience ourselves as small and insignificant. And to the degree that we believe that we are small and insignificant, we will either feel bad about ourselves or we will create a pseudo-strength for ourselves and puff ourselves up so that we can attempt to overcome any perceived external threats. When I consider thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained, what is man, that thou art mindful of him? That's what we just did. And the Son of Man, that thou visitest him. The Son of Man has several connotations, but if you think of the Son of Man as the oversoul of all people, the divine child of the infinite, the divine child of God, of which we are all part, it puts it into an interesting context, because not only are we saying, who am I to think of myself as anything other than a speck of dust, but then it puts that all on its head and says, for thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Now, to say that we're a little lower than the angels is part of a theological understanding from these people. To them, that was a big deal. That you could even be a little lower than the angels was a big deal. But in truth, there is no higher and lower in the mind of the infinite. The whole idea of that angelic hierarchy that we learn when we study angel magic, that's for our benefit because we see things in levels. We see things as having levels. We see things as potent and impotent, dark and light, good and bad, strong and weak. But the infinite only sees the oneness that is. When it says, thou hast made him a little lower than the angels and hast crowned him with glory and honor, it's really saying that we are the divine child of the infinite in whom they are well pleased. And there's nothing that we can do to change the infinite's opinion of us, because the infinite knows that it doesn't make junk. And so no matter how deprecating we are, it doesn't change the infinite's opinion of us. I think a lot of times in general, we think if we self-deprecate in the presence of the infinite, we think that's going to make the infinite like us more, or prove to the infinite that we're not arrogant or something like that. The infinite knows who we are. The better thing to do, instead of saying, oh, I'm just a speck of dust, I'm not worthy, the better thing to do is to ask the infinite, please show me how you see me. Please show me the truth of who I am. Please show me how you've crowned me with glory and honor. Thou madest him to have dominion over the work of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet. People misunderstand this and they think, oh, well, we have dominion, so we can do anything we want here. That's not what this is saying. It's saying that we were put here to take care of everything. We were entrusted. We were entrusted with this earth. And we have done a horrible job. We have really let the ego run amok. We've done a horrible job of taking care of this earth. But even with that, the infinite is not fazed. Even with that, we cannot make the infinite change its opinion of us. This is how hard we've tried to prove to the infinite how unworthy we are, how bad we are, how we've really allowed that demiurge, that ego, to get a hold of our minds. We've done so much to try to prove to the infinite how unworthy we are, how bad we are, and arrogantly, how the infinite really messed up by creating us. But what is the infinite's response? I don't see that. That's not true. That's an illusion in your mind. All sheep and oxen, yea, all the beasts of the field, the fowl of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passeth through the paths of the sea. Everything is ours. Everything is our gift. The world is God's gift to us, and we are God's gift to the world. Take that very personally. The world is God's gift to you, and you are God's gift to the world. I don't know that they do it so much anymore, but when I was a kid, that phrase is something that people would use to denote arrogance in a person. They'd say, who do you think you are? God's gift to the world? And if anybody ever asks you that, you can say, yeah. And so are you. That's the problem, is that we don't understand that we are God's gift to the world because we don't act like it. We don't act like we are God's gift to the world. The infinite wants us to, because that's the truth of who we are. The moment we realize that and we wake up to that, we start seeing things very differently. How could you not? All this time, I'm here as the gift, and all this time the whole world was the gift for me. It makes you very different. How you see things, how you respond to things, what you do, how you treat people, how you spend your money, how you spend your time, what you think about. All of those things, when you understand that the bottom line of all of it is that you are a gift and the world is your gift, everything changes in an instant. Talk about claiming your power. That is the claiming of one's power, because we have this idea that if I claim my power, then I'll have power over other people. That's very weak. It's not real power. Real power is that I am the infinite's gift to the world. I am like an angel. I have the power of the infinite at my disposal. And everything that comes to me is a gift, and my response is my gift to them. When something's coming to me, if I'm not seeing the gift in it, I'm misperceiving it. If I am responding to something in a way that's not a gift to the world, I'm misperceiving it. It's huge. The last verse says, "O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all of the earth." Ending the way it started. It's like a magic circle enclosed around you. This whole psalm is like a magic circle enclosed around you, empowering you, giving you strength, giving you truth, giving you permission to shine, giving you permission to use your power to be that angel you were created to be. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. In all the earth, take it personally. What is the earth to you? It's your money, it's your relationships, it's your car, it's your job, it's your career, the things in your life, the earth, the manifest world that you live in. So the infinite is alive in all of the manifestations of your world when you recognize the name of God in those manifestations. And the name of God is what? The qualities of God. So if there's something that you don't like in your life, it's because you're not seeing where the name of God is there. You're listening instead to the name of the ego. If there's something that you don't like, you haven't reclaimed your power there. And you say, I'm going to see the name of God in this. I'm going to see the quality of the infinite in this instead of the problem that my ego has me obsessing over. And that kind of a change in our mentality is everything. And a lot of people don't want to give up their addiction to the ego. No, it really is a problem. There is no solution for me. I really am dust of the earth. I really am not powerful. They get very upset sometimes when you give them permission to have their power and to create change in their lives. They get very upset with you about that. Everybody's at their own pace with this. But for you, obviously you're here to receive that, because otherwise you wouldn't be listening to this. You have the power. You have the power to create change in your life, in all the earth, by looking at the names of God within the circumstances rather than the names of the ego. To shift your perception in whatever way is necessary so that you can see the blessing and the gift there, the gift that was given you and the gift that you are to the world, in place of all of the problems that the ego has you obsessing over, which are not your birthright. Those problems are not your birthright. Your power is your birthright. You as the gift and you as the receiver of the gift, that's your birthright. So if that's not what you're experiencing something that the infinite did not create for you. And that gives you all kinds of wonderful work to do. And that work is always in the realms of consciousness, seeing it a different way. I'm going to see this a different way. I'm going to look for the name of God in this situation instead of the name of the ego. I'm going to look for myself as the gift to this situation, and I'm also going to look for how this situation is a gift to me. And And once I see that, the whole thing changes, the problem itself dissolves, and I then have another example of my power, my divine power, my magical power, my supreme power as a divine child of the infinite. So you just keep coming back to this same psalm until you start to get a sense of peace and certainty about whatever situation it was that brought you to the psalm. Once you get that sense of peace and certainty that all is well, that means your spell has cast, and then you don't have to work the spell anymore, and you can move on to something else. Thank you so much for being with me today. Until next time, blessed be.